special Saturday evening cocktail. I am so excited to say tonight, for the first time in a long time, the bar's open. So happy to be here in the new upstairs bar. You recognize the bar, but not the place. We're here. We moved it up after a lot of painstaking work. First time in a long time. So happy to be here. And for this weekend, gotta do one. Been 20 plus years in the making, a year in the wait making. For John Cena, the retirement tour comes to an end. Gotta do one for the last time. As he's been saying, the last time is now. It's time to celebrate. Time to celebrate with a drink. So I was trying to figure out what to do. I was thinking, all right, well, maybe we could do just one that's been there. We could do like a last word cocktail, but I think I did that one once before. That one's gin, Luxardo, green chartreuse, and lime. It's an okay drink. It's very herb forward. All right, maybe not that much fun to celebrate a wrestler like John Cena. There's one called the Final Word. All right, that one's the same thing, but with rye. Maybe we're heading in the right direction. Maybe we may twist it up a little bit, do it a little more original. Maybe we call this one The Last Time in honor of the celebration of John Cena retiring this time around. Let's get right to it, because I got a little bit to say too. So let's get the drink drinking. Let's do 1 ounce of bourbon. And use bourbon instead of rye. 1 ounce of Luxardo maraschino liqueur. And don't let the fact that this is a cherry liqueur fool you. It's got a kick, as does the green chartreuse. And we're going to do 1 ounce of that, okay? So these are the proportions that are even in the last word and the final word. It's all kind of 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. We're going to do the same thing with the lime. I'm out of fresh lime, so I'm just going to use the good lime juice. I'm sorry, I couldn't get to the store for fresh lime today, but this is the good stuff anyway. All right, so we're going to go right here. Now, I think what I want to do is just sweeten this up just a little bit. We're going to do this 2 ways, all right? I'm going to do just a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. And just a little bit of celebration. It's a special night. A little bit of tiki, a little bit of velvet falernum. Call this one The Last Time, about 1/2 ounce of this, all right? Again, just a little bit of an extra note to brighten it up for this special occasion for John Cena and the retirement, all right? So, I'm gonna stir this up like so. Get everything incorporated. You could probably shake this if you want to, because there is a fruit juice in here, okay? Could probably lighten up some of the bitterness involved if you wanted to use, say, for instance, orange juice instead of the lime, or even in addition to, and I would freshly squeeze that in. And let's just do this straight in here. Got a nice color from that lime and that chartreuse. And let's see how we did. To John Cena, the last time is now. That's nice. It's got a lot of flavor notes. Honestly, it is like it's like a whiskey sour with a PhD at this point. Very, very fancy. Maybe for the doctor of thugonomics, I don't know. I'm excited about this. This is gonna be a nice little drink. You know, so why am I doing this? Why do I care? I've been a professional wrestling fan my whole life. All right, since I was 3 years old, playing behind this bar, looking around the corner, peering at the TV, Wrestling Challenge, watching this happen. And you know, and I was gonna write this down, but Cena would have freestyled it. So forgive me if I ramble. I've always watched, I've always enjoyed. And with respect to the performers, I've always known the entertainment and the storytelling aspect of it. That's what made it good. That's what made it entertaining. In fact, that's always been my frame of reference. As a kid, there was this thing on TV, a bunch of big men in armor slamming into each other. I asked my grandfather what he was watching. I was tiny. He said, it's a football game. I said, oh, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, was my question. I thought all sports was morality play, was entertainment like that. My frame of reference was wrestling, of course. the good guy was, we later learned, would be the Patriots that he was watching, but that's a story for another day. You know, and the thing about it is, wrestling is always better when you have a rooting interest, when you care about who's gonna win the story and who's gonna lose the story. And I can say that in the time that I've watched Cena, there was never a time when I rooted against him, when I didn't want to see him win the match. I mean, there might have been stories that would have been more interesting if he didn't prevail one night or another, but for the most part, I always cheered for that guy. And I always, you know, it just was drawn to him, and it was probably just a degree of authenticity. Some of the other wrestlers always seemed to be in character, but for him, the character always seemed like it was him. You felt like you were rooting for somebody. So people, you know, people are throwing around saying, well, he's the greatest of all time. I think that's a metric that is really hard to say in that. But I think that it's that level of authenticity that draws so many people to him. So obviously, I think if there's one lesson with Cena, it's that we need to keep that authenticity within ourselves, you know? Obviously, you know, the last time is now, you know, the clock has been ticking for him, and he's brought that about himself, you know, but that's kind of, you know, his song, My Time Is Now, always talking about his time, and, you know, it's been a fun year watching him and just how, you know, you really come to appreciate how it's been, this finite time that it's been. And he's been very honest about what he said. He can't do it as well anymore, so he's, you know, he's put a period at the end of it. It's kind of, you know, let's face it, we all have only so much time to do what we can do. But, you know, the thing about professional wrestling that's different from a lot of other storytelling is, you know, your heroes, the people you like to watch, they all go away sometime, and they are not replaceable. When I was a kid, 3 different guys played on screen, and one other guy voiced Batman. I never went to watch the Michael Keaton or the, you know, Val Kilmer or the George Clooney movie. I went to watch the Batman movie. These superheroes were always replaced. The professional wrestlers, those guys are irreplaceable. And, you know, kind of the way he's going out, you know, kind of on his terms, but just showing that, you know, yeah, he can't be replaced, but, you know, someone else can, you know, he's trying to leave it for someone else to do his job. So I think, you know, the lesson to be left is make enough of an impact that you're irreplaceable, be authentic, use the time you got, enjoy every minute. As I always say, call the people you love, bet on yourself. Thank you Thank you for everything, John Cena. Cheers. Looking forward to the match. The time is now. Cheers, everybody. Call the people you love.